Hi, I'm Liz with Liz's Crafts, and today I will be bringing you 3 Christmas DIYs. DIY number 1. So for this one, I have a baby food jar, and this is just an old one from years ago. And I'm taking the lid and some acrylic paint and just using my paintbrush, and then I think I switched to a dauber to paint it, or maybe I don't. And then I printed up this man glitter from black vinyl with my Cricut, and I'm just taking my transfer tape, putting it on that so that I can then transfer it onto the jar. And I'm just using my it's not a scraper tool, but burnishing tool, I guess it is, and put the vinyl onto the transfer tape, and then I'm just adding that to the jar. And it's been a little while since I made a video, so I'm a little rusty right now, so just give me some grace. So I just burnish my vinyl onto the jar, and it goes very well, and I just remove that. And this is just some vinyl that I got off of Amazon. And now I have this sawdust. Now this is sawdust that I collected when my husband was, doing some woodworking. And I'm just putting about 14 little spoonfuls in the baby food jar. Oh, and this is where I decide to use my dauber on the jar lid. So I just got a little bit of paint on my dauber, again the black acrylic paint, and going around the jar lid. And it just gives it a little bit of texture. And then I have this pick that I got off of something that I had bought, and I just cut a little piece of it off. So I cut a piece of the berries off and a piece of the greenery off. And I'm just going to use that to decorate my jar. And I have some jute twine here. Now I am going to, I think, put the lid on first. Yep, there we go. Put the lid on and then wrap the jute around, leaving a tail. I'm holding on to the tail there so that I can tie a little knot. So I wrap it around probably about 7 times. Trim that off and then tie a little knot in the jute. I figured the knot was better for, man glitter than a bow. Man knots. So I'm just going to add my greenery and my berries to it using the hot glue. Oh, and I am taking the ends of the jute and just separating them. So I have a Christmas craft show coming up the 9th of December at First Assembly of God Church off of Tremere, East Tremere, I think it is. Or maybe South Tremere. Anyway, I have the flyer in my Facebook group. So there it is, man glitter sawdust. Yay. So I'll have this in my booth for about $5. And there they are. I made about 6 of them, actually. That's how many jars I had. So now we'll move on to DIY number 2. So this one here, I took this Fisker's stencil thingy, I guess you could say. It's a very hard plastic, and then some of this Dollar Tree vinyl. And I'm just going to use the largest oval, and I'm just using this tool to go around instead of a pencil. You can use a pencil or a pen or whatever. It's just something to mark it so that you know how to cut it out or where to cut it. And I just cut the vinyl out, and then I'm going to add this to my vase that you see over there. And it's a pretty large vase. A friend of mine gave it to me. Thank you, Nancy, for giving me the vase. It's always good to have freebies, right? And when your friends know you craft, they give you stuff, and I appreciate that. So I just removed the backing off the vinyl, and then I'm going to put it to my vase wherever I think it should go. So really, I wish I had made a bigger oval, and I could have done that using my Cricut machine, or I could have just hand drawn one out. And there are some wrinkles in it, but that's okay because we're going to remove this later. So, like I said, I do wish I had made it bigger. And now I'm just going to take my Mod Podge, and this is just homemade Mod Podge, and I'm going to add it to my vase, and then I'm going to add the snow to it. Now this snow I got from Dollar Tree. My Mod Podge is a little brown because I was doing something else with junk journals, and I added some coffee to it. So I don't like that it's brown for this. However, I do want to use it up. So I'm going to use it. I mean, you can see some brown on it, but later on I do spray the vase with some spray adhesive and add a different snow that you'll see in the next DIY just to cover up some of that brownish color. Excuse me. Let me get a drink here. So all I'm doing is putting my homemade Mod Podge on the vase and then putting the snow on top of it until the whole thing is covered. And if I see any places that don't have much snow on it, then I can go back over with a Mod Podge. Now it does get a little messy, but just do the best that you can. And then I'm adding the Mod Podge and the snow to the upper part of the vase. And then to keep the snow from falling off, I just spray it with some of that matte spray sealer. And I'm going to add one of these trees. Now, I got this from the Dollar Tree way back when I ordered a whole case of them. And they were the black, orange, purple, and green ones from Halloween. And this is one of the green ones. So I just hot glued it to the bottom of the vase. Now you want to make sure you don't have any snow in the bottom of the vase or your tree's not going to stick. So then I just remove that vinyl. And there you have an opening to where it shows your tree. And you can see, you can only see like part of the tree. So that's kind of why that is why I would like to have made my oval larger. And then I have this light that I got from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to put some snow down there on the tree, make it pretty. And now I have one of these rounds, and I got this one from Walmart. It was probably like 99 cents or something, but I got it years ago. And then I have this lime slice that came off of something from the Dollar Tree. So we're going to use that too. And I'm just going to use my little sander there and remove some of the glitter that's on that. And then I'm going to use my E6000. And some hot glue to add this to the wood round. I'm just going to put that right down in the center. And then I have this metal piece here, and it was from a light fixture. And I'm just going to add my E6000 to it, and I'm going to be turning it upside down. Add some hot glue to it also. And that is going to fit on top of my vase. And then I decide I'm going to have to remove that bulb portion of my light so that I just have the little fairy lights hanging down. And that way it'll also get around my tree and you can see it. Before it just wasn't, it wasn't working. You couldn't really see the lights because of the bulb. So I just took the piece here that I made, and I took it outside and I sprayed it with this metallic finish gold spray paint from Rust-Oleum. And then I have this wreath form from Hobby Lobby that I got last year when it was 90% off. And I'm just going to use some E6000 again and some hot glue around the edges of my board here, or my round, to connect my wreath to. So E6000 and hot glue. Just going to add my wreath to that. And then I also have these berries from Hobby Lobby, 90% off last year. I'll have to go back this year after Christmas and do some more shopping when it goes down to 90% off. Because that's usually the only time I buy a lot of stuff from Hobby Lobby. So I'm just taking pieces of the berries and I'm hot and gluing them to the wreath. You can just cut it with your scissors. So I just do several pieces around the wreath until I like the way it looks. Sped this up for you so you didn't have to watch me in real time put these pieces on there. But I like the way it turned out. And now I take this marker, and it's just a permanent marker, and it's the closest color I have to the berries there, because some of them, you know, they get pulled apart and then you can see the white. Well, I don't like seeing the white, so I just take a marker and I touch up any of the spots where I see white on the berries. I just think it makes it look a lot better. And then I have one of these battery operated candles from the Dollar Tree. Now I'll just turn my light on in the vase there. Put the top on here. And now you have a holder for your candle. Now this is pretty large, and I will be selling this in my booth, and I will probably sell it for, I don't know, anywhere from $40 to $50. I'm not sure quite yet. But there it is, and here's a picture of it. Isn't it pretty? I think it turned out great, except I just wish the hole was a little bit bigger. And now on to our DIY number 3 and our last DIY. So for this one, I have this decor piece that I got from Goodwill. Paid a couple dollars for it. And I'm going to Mod Podge some scrapbook paper to the top of that, which ends up being the bottom of our project. So I just wanted to cover that up. Since this is a Christmas item, I didn't want that on the bottom of it. I mean, if it's just for yourself or whatever, you can omit this part, but I like mine to be finished, so I'd probably do it anyway. So I'm just taking my little sander there, and I'm going to go around all the edges to sand off the extra paper. And now I have this plastic ring that I had, oh my gosh, probably 40 years, back when I was doing macrame. So I'm going to use it for this project here. And you know what? It feels good to use something that you've had for so long and you think you're never going to do anything with it. But I put some hot glue on there. No, it was an E6000 and some wood glue on. But this doesn't really hold all that well. Later on, I do put some hot glue on it also. I just use whatever glue I can that ends up working to keep this in the box. So now I have this little snowman, and I had gotten it at Hobby Lobby years ago. There was 3 in a package, and I'm finally going to use one of them. So I cut the top off and I bent the bottom in. But however, I think a better way to do it would just be to glue a wood ring on the bottom instead of, you know, trying to make the bottom, because the bottom is round and you can't get them to set up. So instead of, you know, like trying to make the bottom square, just go ahead and glue a round ring on it, and you can get those at the Dollar Tree. So I painted his hat in a black acrylic paint, and then I took another one of those bottle brush trees and I painted it with the green paint, and that was hunter green, I think it was. And now I'm taking some foam, and I'm just going to cut a little circle out to cover up that hole in his hat. And this foam has adhesive backing on it. So I'm just going to take that little piece off of the back of the foam and add that to his hat. Now it doesn't cover it completely, and we'll fix that in a little bit. But right now I have these holly berries and some holly leaves. Again, I had gotten these at Hobby Lobby, yeah, probably 30 some years ago. But they have metal, or let me think, wire. They have wire between the 2 leaves, and then the berries are also on wire. In fact, they're so old the wire was rusting. I mean, is that crazy? I'm just glad I'm finally using some of this stuff that I've had forever. And when I say forever, I mean forever. Of course, the minute you throw it away, you're like, oh, I can use that. And then you regret it. So you save it, and you save it, and you save it for years. And then maybe finally you'll use it. Anybody else there like me? So I'm going to add this to his hat, but I want to just wrapped the wires around each other to make a little cluster. And then I'm taking this floral tape, and I got it from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to go around the stem. And you do want to pull it a little bit, because as you pull it, it does make it sticky. And then I'm just going to cut off the excess end of it, the tape and the wires. And then we're going to hot glue this to his hat. Look at that. Isn't that cute? That's cute. So hot gluing that to his hat. That's cute right there. Got some little holly, and there where I'm showing you the hole, we want to fix that. So I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue there. Let it set up, and then I will give it a little bit of paint with my acrylic black paint there. And that takes care of the hole in his hat. Okay, so we're back to our piece, and we got some lights here. And these lights that I use, I got those from Amazon. You get a box of like 30 of them for, I don't know, $29, $30. Anyway, it ends up being less than $1 a piece. So a lot cheaper than a Dollar Tree, and they already have batteries in them. And the little battery pack is small. So for me, that's a win-win-win-win. Cheaper, already has batteries you don't have to pay for, and it's smaller. The little battery pack is smaller. So I love them. Now I probably should have waited to, well, here's where I add hot glue to the ring there, because it just kept, well, as you can see, that wood glue is still liquidy, so I should have waited, but you know, we get impatient and we want to go ahead on with our DIYs and the filming and all. So I go ahead and I add the battery pack to the back of this, but you should wait and do that last, and you'll see that later. Now here's where I add my glue to the bottom of my snowman, and I put him on the stage here. But again, if you use one of those wood rings, you can just add that to the bottom of him, and it'll work perfectly to get him to sit upright. And you don't even have to do anything to the bottom, the round portion of the snowman. And then I'm just going to add my tree. So I'm using some wood glue and some hot glue for the tree. And now we're going to put our balloons on. Now these are glass balls, and these are from the 80s. It was back when I got these from a store that doesn't even exist anymore. So these are antiques, but these are glass. Now, and I was just using things that I had around. If, you know, I was going to do this and, you know, buy all the stuff, I would buy the plastic balls. But the glass ones work too. So I'm starting out with this first ball here, one of the smaller gold ones. I do have two sizes. The gold and the green are the smaller ones, and then the red ones are the bigger ones. And I use 3 of each color. So 3 big red ones, 3 smaller gold ones, and 3 smaller, or 4, actually 4 gold and 4 green, and 3 of the red. And you just want to get these on the best way you can. One thing I can tell you is you want the end where you're going to attach your string on your balls to be kind of facing the snowman who's going to be holding them, to make them look like balloons. And then as you're adding the balls to this piece, then you want to glue the balls to each other. So you start out with the first balls, gluing them onto the ring, and then after that the balls mostly get glued to each other, and they kind of hold each other on there. And you want to add strings to where you would actually put a hanger or whatever on the balls. Put your string there and make sure it's long enough to go to the snowman. In fact, you want it a little bit longer. And you can trim it off later. And I would just use a thinner string, nothing too thick, but it doesn't have to be really small. I think I showed you a picture of it, or the thread that I was using. I think it's just something that I picked up at Hobby Lobby a while back. So there you can see that I'm gluing the balls to each other. And some on the ring too. And they actually hold up pretty well. But like I said, you just want to make sure you get your ends in the correct position, because you want it to make it look like the snowman is holding the strings to the balloons. These are now balloons. And the hot glue seems to hold it pretty well, especially when you're gluing the balls to each other. And I'm guessing this would work pretty well even if you were using the plastic balls. But it works very well with these that are glass ones. And it didn't crack any of them or anything. So what I do is I place my ball and then I put the glue in between the balls after I place them. And now what I'm doing is I'm taking the strings to the balloons and I am gluing them to where the snowman's hand is. He's actually holding a wreath, but we'll just kind of cover that up with the balloon strings. And then I am adding the rest of the lights. I'm going to wrap those around the tree here. And this is where I wish I would not have glued the power pack on, because you're going to see I have to go around the balloons there, around the ring, and bring it up kind of from the back. And if I'd have just waited to glue the battery pack on, it would have worked out better. But I make it work. I mean, I could have taken it off and re-glued it, but yeah, I just didn't want to do that. So I just figured a way around it. And you're probably going to have glue strings everywhere, so you can use your your heat gun to kind of melt those glue strings after you're completely done. So just wrapping the lights around the tree, tucking the excess in towards the back there. Turn the light on. Oh, look at that. Isn't that cute? Love it. Now we want to add a little bow to the strings to the balloons, just to make it cute. And I'm just using some art glitter glue, but you could definitely use hot glue for this. And now I'm taking my Mod Podge and I'm just spreading that along the bottom here. Sped that up for you so you wouldn't have to watch me do all that in real time. And then I'm just going to add this snow to it. Now this snow I like a lot better. And I think this is snow that I got from Hobby Lobby last year, 90% off. I like it a lot better than the Dollar Tree snow. It's just a finer snow, and I just think it looks better, and it definitely feels better. I just like it. So I'm adding some more Mod Podge towards the back there, just filling in where I don't have any. And you can also go up the insides of the box here. I don't think I did on this one, but you can certainly do that. And I'm putting in enough snow that's going to cover up my brownish Mod Podge. I'm using the back end of my brush there to get it up underneath the tree and other spaces where I couldn't reach with my fingers. And then I took some adhesive spray, and this is just some that I got from Pop Shelf. And I'm just going to spray, I sprayed that snow, and then I sprayed the clear matte sealer on top of it. And that's just so it's not going to flake off and go everywhere. So it really makes it stick down, and it's not going to like go everywhere. So here's a picture of it all lit up. Isn't it cute? So let me know which of these three are your favorite. The man glitter sawdust, the candle holder, or this snowman with the balloons. Again, I'm Liz with Liz's Crafts, and this again is my first video for a long time, and I hope you guys like it. I'll see you later.